So, I have some car buying tips for people out there. This was a video suggestion from a friend on Twitter. So the buying tips I have, they kind of depend whether you're mechanically inclined at all or not. Some of them are pretty basic. Check your tires when you're going to buy a vehicle. If it's used, if it's new, it will have new tires. I made a video about tires, so I'm not going to get into that, but if it's used, check the tires. I mean, if you're spending $20,000-$30,000 on a vehicle and it doesn't come with a pretty decent set of tires, well, you might want to go to a different dealership and find a different vehicle, because there is a dealership out there that will make sure that you have some decent rubber on there. Other than that, I mean, obviously check the paint for any scratches and stuff. Cosmetics, right? Make sure the windshield's not broken, which I don't think they can sell it to you with a busted windshield, but there's some things on a vehicle that give you kind of telltales. Like if your bumper's scratched up on both sides, that person that owned it before you might be a pretty crappy driver, and there might be more wrong with that than you can see. If you're mechanically inclined, even just a slight bit, do yourself a favor, open the hood, check the oil. It sounds really silly to do, but there's a lot of people out there that are really, really, really bad at maintenance. So when you're checking your oil, check the level. Obviously, that's the main reason for your dipstick. But also put the dipstick kind of here on your nose and just smell. Most people kind of have a gauge of what oil should smell like. If there's any type of a sweet smell to it, like a pop that has been on the table, I think most of us know that smell. Don't buy that vehicle, because the odds of it leaking antifreeze into itself, into the oil specifically, is good, and you're not going to want those headaches unless you're getting a smoking deal on it and you're somebody that knows somebody that builds engines, or you're going to do it yourself. Then absolutely, because you're probably going to get a smoking deal on it. Another thing is, it's kind of 50-50 whether your vehicle has it. Open the rad cap and just have a look down into the radiator. Now, what you're looking for is levels mainly. Getting low levels could be a sign that you have a head gasket gone or a leak. There's countless things that could be, but you want the level to be right there. Some vehicles, this truck being one of them for now, they don't have a rad cap. They have a bottle up against the firewall. You can see through it. You can see the levels. I mean, it is what it is. That one's pretty self-explanatory. So that's if you're mechanically inclined. If you're not, please take somebody with you. Your dad, your brother, your cousin, your sister who knows something about vehicles. Anybody with you that just even knows just a little bit. So other than that, drive the vehicle. Try to go down a road that's not very busy, because you're going to want to get, not going fast, because I'm not encouraging anybody to get into an accident. Go 30 kilometers an hour. Make sure if you have passengers with you that you explain to them what you're going to do, and hit the brakes a little bit, and then get back up to 30 and hit those suckers pretty hard. You shouldn't hear loud squealing. You shouldn't feel any chatter unless it's winter and your ABS. That's a whole separate ball game. You want a clear road for this. For the most part with brakes, if something's going pretty wrong with them, you will likely feel that. It's a good habit. When you're driving down the road, check your steering wheel. Make sure like there's not excessive play like this before the wheels start turning. When you turn the wheel, your vehicle should start to turn. There shouldn't be any wobble in the steering wheel. while you're at that, make sure the steering wheel is pointed straight up and down, not angled like this, because that could be an indication that you need an alignment or there's something wrong in the front end. For other basic things when looking for a vehicle, try to check all the electrical, put the power windows down, use the locks, actuate the radio, turn the radio up. I mean, if there's blown speakers, odds are a dealership is not going to lose a sale over putting in a set of speakers. If they do, then do you really want to do business with that dealership anyway? I wouldn't. That's kind of my beginnings of the basics when I personally go look at a vehicle for myself, my mom, my wife, whoever asks me to come look at a vehicle for them. I get a little more in depth, but I'm also pretty much a mechanic, so I look for a little other things. Another thing too, driving around, most places don't have very smooth roads. So if you're buying it in the summer or the spring, or if you can handle the cold from winter and you put the window down, try to have the window down a little bit while you're driving down a rough-ish road, and just listen for any odd sounds. The tires are going to make noise, you know, there's going to be little sounds, but usually sounds like ball joints, wheel bearings, things like that. They have very distinct sounds, and even people that don't know much about vehicles, like my neighbor, he heard a sound in his and asked me to take it for a ride, and turned out to be a wheel bearing. That's something you don't want to let go for long if that's happening on your vehicle. But do yourself the favor and just listen for something. And if you feel something's wrong, but you don't know what it is, mention it to the dealership and ask for the mechanic to come for a ride with you. If they say the mechanic or the service advisor or even the salesman himself may know about vehicles, if they're not willing to send somebody for a ride with you, walk away, because they are not going to back their product and they're not worried about your concern. They are only there to try to get you in that vehicle and get you out the door. So that's kind of the basics of what to look for when buying a new vehicle. If there's interest, I can get a little more in depth. That'll be a video for another day though. Best of luck.